All right, so last time we started arithmetic sequences. Do you remember the definition? What's going on between each of the terms? There's a common difference. They're adding or subtracting something, right? So you're adding it, whether it's a positive or negative number, you're adding. There's a common difference. And anytime you know that a sequence is arithmetic, if you want to find a term or find the difference, you can take any term and subtract the one before, and that'll tell you what they added on. There were two definitions of how to write a formula for a sequence. One was based on the term number, and it was a sub n equals the first term plus the difference n minus 1 times, and when you're all done, the only thing that should be left on that right-hand side is the n. So if I have a sequence like either one of these on my notes right here, this one, oh, hang on my cursor. Either this one, hello, come on, pen. This one or this one down here. If I wanted to know, like I said last time, the 37th term, I put in a 37. Or if I want to know the 7th term, I put in a 7. We good? This is a different format called recursive. Recursive is easy to write. You just said you took the previous term. Remember that notation? N minus 1 meant the previous one. A sub n minus 1, the previous term, and you add some difference. But you also have to tell me where it started. By the way, weren't those the two things you had to tell me here? You had to fill in this one and this one, the difference and where it started? Okay, same two things. All right, but when you're done with this one, all it tells you is you take the previous term adding and you add 2 beginning with 7. Does that really help you if you want to find the 53rd term? Not unless you want to add 2 a whole bunch of times, right? This one is not as useful. It's easier to write. All right, then we're going to jump all the way to, where did we leave off? Okay. Can we just do 20 real fast? We skipped last time. Can you tell me, just looking at this, what the difference is? Okay, the difference is 2. Unfortunately, the first term is not negative 29. Okay, to find term 1, you have to put in a 1. So it's negative 29 plus 2 times 1, which is negative 27. Okay, now that I know the first term and the difference, how do I write? This one wanted the recursive one. So you say to find any term, I take the previous one and do what? Okay, back up a minute. I'm doing number 20. To take this particular one right here, I'm adding 2. So I say a sub n plus 2, where the first term was a negative 27. Some of you, that would make way more sense if you just started by putting in a 1, putting in a 2, putting in a 3, and figuring out what you got. And then you wrote out a few terms and you went, oh, well, obviously they're adding 2 starting with negative 27. Does that make more sense to some of you? Put in a 1, put in a 2, put in a 3, see what it looks like. Good. All right. 23. This is where they start getting a little messy. If they only give us the 16th and the 34th term, we got to use a little thinking, right? From 34 to 16, 18 differences were added on. Does that make sense? So 338 plus what? 18 differences. I'm going to call it D just to be cute. Equals, what did we get after we added 18 differences on? 698. Okay, let's do a little math. Yep, I got 20. Okay, great. Now I know the difference. I still am supposed to find term 27. How can I find term 27? Do you want to write a formula, or you just want to do the same thing we did here? If we're going to write a formula, we need to know the first term, right? We don't really care what the first term was. The next questions ask us to go back and find the first term, but we don't really care today. So let's go from term 16. From 16 to 27, we would need to add 11 differences. Yes? Sometimes, when I did that problem this morning, they got 9. Are we good that it's 11? Okay. So I'm going to just write this. Term 16 plus 11 differences should give us term 27. If you're confused where we're getting these numbers. So we'd have 338 is term 16 plus 11 differences, each of which is 20, should give us the 27th term, which is 225/58. Okay, that was a lot of messy work to come up with 558. All right, can you try 24? I have to do a presentation next week for a bunch of teachers, and I've been watching these videos that came with the book, and their teachers keep telling them to get on the struggle bus. So you get all these little cute kids saying, well, we had to get on the struggle bus and try to figure it out. So get on the struggle bus, guys. Come on, you can do this one. How many differences? Anybody find a difference? That's what I got too, Camden. Okay. Now what? Can we use either one of these two? They both come before 36, right? Which one you want to use? Second one? Okay. So let's start with this one. We'd have to add 4 differences, right? To get to term 36. So negative 30/62 plus 4 negative 100s would be Does it seem a little less painful this time? Okay. Now they want us to do the same thing, except this time they don't want us, after we find the difference, we have to write the formula, which means we're going to have to find what term? The first one. Okay, I warned you this was coming up. All right, first of all, let's find the difference. How many differences were in here? 16 differences were added. So 38/19 plus 16 differences gave us 70/19. Anybody subtracting? 3,200? Anybody get 20? Or is it 200? It's 200. Yeah, I can't divide. 200? Okay. I'm just going to write this down for a second to help you think. I want to find the first term. Well, this is 200, right? If I have the 20th term, how many differences were added on? So can we put the 20th term in here? Say that again. I think it's 19. Did you subtract and get 19? Did anybody? This was the 20th term. Here, let me write it this way. It'll make more sense if you write it in your notes. I don't like doing it this way. I'd rather talk you through it. Riley, if you want me to talk you through it, if we had term 20, there was the first term plus 19 differences. Okay? So the first term plus 19 times 200 is how they got 3819. Does that make a little more sense logically? So then if we subtract, this is 3800. We get the first term was 19. Better? Okay, I used a formula over here, but I just do it logically. Okay, not done. Write the formula. A sub n equals, what was the first term now? 19 plus 200 n minus 1 times. And I'm okay with you stopping there. What would the answer key look like, though? 200n minus 200, which would be 200n, what's 19 minus 200? Okay, or negative 181 plus 200. These are equivalent, guys, just some distributing and adding of like terms happened, but I'm fine with the first one, okay? Try it. Get on the struggle bus. Is that what you had, Curtin? Do you get negative 6 for the difference? Okay. Forever. Now what? The first term had 15 of those differences added to it before it became negative 73, right? Let me write that in words for some of you. So now we're going to solve that. Whoops, oops, oops, oops. Camden, you get 17? That's what I heard. I got that too. Okay. Anybody write the formula for us now? Seventeen minus 6n plus 6, 23 minus 6n. Yep. All right. Yes. Where did 15 come from? Can someone answer her question? 40. Oh, okay. We did 40 minus 16 and there was 24 differences, right? But then we were trying to go back to the first term. To find the first term from this one, we had to subtract 15 differences. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Do you think I should be nice and stop the recording so